Hey there, boils and ghouls. It's your friend Tats, and I'm back with a video. And just wanted to have a quick little chat. It's like already, yeah, looking at how 4K Blu-ray buying is gonna shape up in 2023, and it's oh boy, I can already tell. I mean, I know we're just barely getting into 2023, but you can already tell it's gonna be very hit or miss. Um, like some stuff is definitely going to be worth going after, and then some stuff's definitely not going to be. The reason why is that today, Scream Factory on Dawn of the Discs, they posted Scream Factory posted like some of their upcoming stuff for March, and it's like oh boy, it's like the two they're going to put out Shout Factory is going to put out Wanted with Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy. They're going to put that out on 4K, and I mean, hey, more power to you. I got nothing to say about that. I just not my kind of movie or anything like that, so nothing there. But there are two horror titles that they're pitching. Really, is they're going to put out Dead Silence on 4K, and they're going to put out The Exorcist 3 Legion on 4K. So, all right. So at first I was kind of like, oh man, I really want Dead Silence on 4K. So I was about ready to put in the pre-order for that. Then I realized, wait a minute. What if this is the theatrical cut? And then I looked into it. It's like, for right now, it's kind of like, yeah, that's what it's shaping up to be. It's going to just be the theatrical cut. You guys have heard me rant on this in videos in the past. Those of you who've, been around with my channel since the beginning, it's like I've talked about how, yeah, it's like, man. One thing that really, really always irks me is usually when, you only get the theatrical cut on the 4K. They won't put the extended cut. Now, I will admit, okay, so kind of like with Dead Silence, I'm kind of like, I'm gonna wait and see on that one. If it turns out it's theatrical cut, because I already have on Blu-ray, I have the unrated cut, and I know it's only a 3 minute difference, but it's like, you know, to sit there and shell out $30, for a movie that's missing 3 minutes for slightly better picture quality. No, I'm not gonna really do that. Um, but yeah, just uh, so I was looking at that. Now, granted, I will say this. All right. I know this is gonna. I'm gonna come off sounding like a hypocrite because it's okay. I don't want to buy, Dead Silence because it's just probably gonna be the theatrical cut. However, I am interested in getting Exorcist 3 on 4K, even if it is the theatrical. Actually, I'd rather want that to be the theatrical cut because that's one of the few times where the theatrical cut is actually my preferred version of the movie. So that I can see actually, like putting the money into and picking that up. But just, yeah. And it's like one thing, I mean, I was happy for, because, when they first announced, like here at the end of this month, the Dawn of the Dead remake is coming out on 4K from Scream Factory. And I was like, okay. And then it comes out, I was like, okay, yeah, it is the unrated cut. And I was like, all right, pretty sweet. All right. Like maybe this will be a way of things start. And I was sitting there thinking, it's like, man, maybe we could start getting, because, I was sitting there thinking, I was dreading like all these movies that Scream Factory has the rights to that they could potentially put on 4K. I was like, man, it's like, if they put out Drag Me to Hell on 4K, I want the unrated. I'm going to want the unrated version. If they put out Land of the Dead, I'm going to want the unrated version. If they put out My Bloody Valentine, and that's the thing. I have the steel book of My Bloody Valentine, the 2 disc and everything else, and it's like that would horrify me if they turn around and said we're going to put out the original My Bloody Valentine, and they say we're going to put that out, and we're going to put it out on 4K, but then it's only the theatrical cut. And the thing is like, um, like oh God, it's like, I talked about this with Rob from VHS 82 apostrophe and Jason from Horrific Nightmares and Glenn from BDG Reviews. I talk with, we do chats sometimes. I talk with those guys about it. And it's like, oh my God, it's just like, Scream Factory went and did so much work on restoring the, unrated footage from My Bloody Valentine, the unrated gore footage, because when Lionsgate put out their version of it, all they did was, um, they just took it, like didn't even remaster or anything, just like it just looked really cruddy, really bad. They just kind of, just spliced it into the movie and threw it out there, and there you go. And then Scream Factory took the time to, like really, just re, remaster that footage and make it look great and make it blend beautifully and seamlessly into the movie and all that kind of stuff. It's like the idea that it's like if Scream Factory turns around and puts My Bloody Valentine out on 4K and they don't even use that after they do all that work, that would be horrifying to me. But yeah, I was just thinking about that. But then, and it's like, oh man. Then I found out, okay, here's the deal. It's like, yeah, Scream Factory, that's the thing. I already sold off my Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray, so I'm going to need to pick up the 4K. But the thing is like they're sitting there like, yeah, here's the deal. It is going to be on 4K, but here's the thing: the theatrical cut, you know, is basically going to be in 4K. Now the unrated footage is still going to be inserted into the movie, but that's only going to be at 1080p. So it's like, so you're going to notice, like when you watch the movie, you're going to notice like, okay, it's going to look a certain way, then it's like going to look and that's going to shift, then go back and forth and kind of shift and everything. So okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting take on how to do it. Why you couldn't just 4K master the whole movie? I don't get it, but it's like, oh man. Um, but just thinking about that, and I mean, but okay, I mean, there are some. I'm still gonna get Dawn of the Dead. I mean, I hope you guys will forgive me for this. I'm sorry, I cannot buy. I'm sorry, like Ouija and what was it, Freaky? Now, Freaky was a decent movie, and that's a movie like, if I could find that for a cheap price on 4K, I would actually consider upgrading that movie. But Ouija, come on, man. Can anybody justify real? I'm sorry to the fans of Ouija, but can anybody really justify like, spending $30 to get Ouija on 4K? Now, if it was Witchboard, yeah, I could definitely see, I'd be like, oh hell yeah, I want to upgrade Witchboard. Witchboard's a really good movie, so that on 4K, I'd be willing to shell out the $30 for, but not Ouija, you know. Freaky, like I said, if I could ever get to a point where I could come across that for a good cheap markdown price, then yeah, I'll pick that one up. But like, Dawn of the Dead, I want to pick that one up. And then like going into February, they got some good stuff. It's like they're gonna put out Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2. I have the first one. I want to get those. I know it's gonna be like a double feature and stuff, but I'm sure it's if you do the job right, there's no reason like on 4K those movies should still look pretty good. But yeah, I do want to get Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2 on 4K, and then I want to get Bubba Hotep. That's coming to 4K. That's a great movie. I would love to have that one on 4K. So yeah, I'm definitely willing to invest in those. Of course, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, the Creme de la Creme, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's coming out on 4K. So I'm definitely going to get that. There's no way in hell I'm not going to get Texas Chainsaw Massacre on 4K. I will have that. Come hell or high water, I will buy Chainsaw Massacre on 4K. And of course, I get these. I'm going to be doing reviews on them, but it's like now it's like Scream Factory. They release like okay, their movies and all. And like I said, the only one out of the three of those that they're going to put out is that I have any interest in is Exorcist 3, and then but on Blu-ray they're going to put out Razorback, which I want to get that, and Doctor Giggles, which Doctor Giggles was a movie I watched that in the theater, and you know, um, I remember not being too impressed with it, but it's like I want to like get it and give it another shot and stuff. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be looking March. I'm probably gonna be looking more forward to picking up those two, Razorback and I just said it, Razorback and Doctor Giggles on Blu-ray. So, but then also too is like looking into some of this other stuff. It's like okay, like well, I just a couple of days ago I did a video where I was talking about like Severin. They put out. Okay, this is something this is going to make it really, really, really hard for 4K buying in 2023. It's like now, boutique companies are sitting here really, really jacking up the prices. I mean, right now, Scream Factory is still, give or take about $30. So, at least they're still consistent. But it's like, oh my God, like Blue Underground, now their stuff is $50 a shot. Severin, their stuff is like 60, $65 a shot and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just sitting here like, no way. I'm sitting here thinking, it's like, you know what? If these companies, they're going to sit here and do this, I'm just going to like put my money aside, wait for the sales to come up and just buy this stuff when I can get like they do like a 50, 60, whatever percent off sale. I'd rather just wait and do it then. And same thing like Criterion and stuff. I mean, you're gonna sit there and keep like really jacking up the prices on this stuff. That's just what I would rather do. But and then you're gonna like, and I'm not giving up on 4K buying or anything like that. Certainly not. I mean, there's gonna be stuff coming out from studios and everything else. I'm definitely gonna want to get into. But there's a lot of stuff too. I really am just like I'm gonna hang off on this. It's like okay, like for one thing, they talked about how now the end of next month we got Rocky 1 through 4 coming out on 4K. That's like okay, well that's nice, but what about 5 and 6? You know, and I know some people are like, well, 1 through 4 is all you need, but what about the people out there who are like, well, I want all of them. So it's like, and so now I'm sitting here kind of like, is it really worth like diving into that again? It's like I already have, the Blu-ray box set that has all the movies and the bonus features and stuff like that. So it just kind of like right now, and Rocky, as much as I love those movies and I do want them on 4K, it's just not really something like the only one of those three or the only one of those four that I'm actually willing to go get is Rocky 4. And the reason why is because, they're going to have it's supposed to have the Stallone director's cut on it. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's like, yeah, like part of the reason I want to get the 4K is to upgrade from the Blu-ray and all that. But it's like in this case, I'm going to have to sit there, I'm going to have to sit there and just hold on to the Blu-ray box set for God knows how long, because who knows how long it's going to be before they finally decide, well, now we'll finally put out, Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa on 4K and all that kind of stuff. I know I'm sounding like a cheap bastard. I'm sorry, but just I can't help it. And then you know, then either they'll put those out separately or they'll turn around. Well, we're going to put them out again in a box set, and you're going to have to buy the box set to get Rocky 5 and 6. It's like, oh man, it's God. So I think I would probably rather just wait until that day comes where they say, okay, now we will put out the Rocky box set that will have all 6 movies in it and stuff like that. Then I'll spring for that. But something like that, it just bugs me to no end. And then what else is there? Let's see. Oh, what was the other one I was thinking of? Like Universal. Okay, Universal, they're putting out the Universal monster movies and stuff. And it seems like Universal kind of has like this formula. At least I think they did that, or do. They kind of followed the same formula. They did it from DVD to Blu-ray, and now it looks like they're doing it to 4K, where they put out, first they'll put out like the collection with just the main Universal Monsters movies, like, okay, here's the set with Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, Invisible Man. And then they'll do the individual releases and stuff like this. And it's like right now I haven't jumped on any of those. And the reason being is because I'm sitting here thinking like, how long is it going to be before we get word from Universal? They're going to be like, okay, now we're going to put out the complete Legacy collection on 4K. And so then people are going to have to turn around like they want like all this. They're going to have to turn around and buy it all again, and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of like, I'm thinking about just waiting and seeing. It's like, first of all, I'm going to be honest with you. This is just me. I know, but it's like honestly, I had all the Legacy collections, on DVD with the slipcover and everything else, and I was happy to have that. But then as I got greedy, it's like I got to have them on Blu-ray because I need to know if they look better and all that kind of stuff. And I got them, and honestly, I didn't really see much of a difference. It's like I could have just stuck with the DVDs and be fine with that. Now I'm kind of like, is 4K really going to be that much of a difference and all that stuff? So I mean, it's like you're always having a head battle about these things, but it's just kind of like right now I'm just in here like, oh man, no. It's like a lot of this stuff is, I'm not going to give up buying 4K. There's a lot of stuff coming out. Like, okay, like Vinegar Syndrome, they're putting out From Beyond on 4K. I think that's a movie that would look phenomenal on 4K, and that's one I really want to get when I get the chance. I want to get, From Beyond on 4K. I bet that'd be a snazzy one. And, I'm sure there's going to be like some studio stuff coming out this year too that I'm probably going to want to get. Like, okay, like everybody's kind of excited about The Abyss, because words come out like The Abyss. I think it's in February or March. That's supposed to be coming to 4K. And, like right now, I'm just sitting here like, okay, there are 2 reasons why I'm just not even really even interested in that. It's like number one, okay, first of all, it's going to be a release from Disney/Fox. And if you've ever picked up their 4K releases are not good. Usually the picture quality, I mean, you remember like last year I did a rant on when they put Heat out. He looked awful on 4K, and there's no reason why that movie should look so bad. But they put Heat out on 4K and that didn't look good. They put out Pirates of the Caribbean. That it's like Pirates of the Caribbean. There's no reason why that movie shouldn't have looked bad on 4K, but it didn't look very good. So, but anyway, just all that kind of stuff. And oh my god. And so it's like, okay, so it's gonna all right. So we got The Abyss coming to 4K, but it is going to be a Disney slash 20th Century Fox release, and that's another thing too. Is it going to be the 2 hour and 20 minute theatrical cut? Or is it going to be the 3 hour extended cut? Or we going to get both? Like personally, I'd be fine if we could get both and they'd be a good transfer and everything else. That would be great. And it's like there's not a reason they can't do that. I mean, hell, if Universal could sit there and put out Peter Jackson's King Kong on 4K, and on the disc you actually get both the theatrical and the extended cut, and that movie's like you're talking like over 3 hours, almost 4 hours long, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if there's they can do that, there's no reason why they couldn't do it with The Abyss. But just oh man, just like I said, I'm not going to give up on 4K buying or anything. I love the format when it's done right. Oh yeah, and I'm sure we're going to get some really good stuff. There's rumors like the Exorcist is supposed to be coming to 4K. Of course, I'm going to want that one definitely. What else? Superman 2, 3, and 4. So I think are supposed to be coming out. Let's see what else. Paramount. I'm sure hopefully. It's like we got Friday the 13th last year. I'm hoping we'll get Friday the 13th Part 2 this year and everything, and on and on. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not giving up on 4K buying, but it's just like, oh man, it's just, boutique companies and studios, like, man, it's like the more I see people, videos of people talking about like, you know, oh yeah, man, when it comes to 4K, I got to really pick and choose. I got to really, really be, picky about my selections. It's like the more I'm seeing it, it's like, and then when you see this stuff coming out, it's like, oh man, yeah, you can understand why. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. I know I just kind of went off on a rant here and stuff, but I just wanted to talk about that. But anyway, yeah, it's like, man, I was kind of hoping, like 4K would we be coming along now that it's like, they would realize like, we're gonna want like the long versions of movies or and it's like hell, you could sit there, you could put both versions of a movie on a 4K disc. I mean, hell, they were doing it back in DVD days. Why can't you do it on 4K and all that kind of stuff? So just like this whole like really picking and choosing thing, it's like, it's like, you want like everybody wants like a franchise of a movie or a certain movie franchise or something like that. Okay, we'll only give you certain ones, and all this kind of stuff. And then it's like, who knows how long you're gonna have to wait for the others to come out, and that's the thing though too. It's like here's the problem. Like DVD, that stuff gets churned out like fast. Blu-ray, it gets churned out, but not as fast as DVD. But it's like still it's stuff is coming. We're getting things on Blu-ray. Like I said, like with Scream Factory, we got Razorback coming. We got Dr. Giggles coming, stuff like that. So we got stuff coming to Blu-ray, and it's like now 4K, it's really lagging behind. So it's like even though it is picking up, but it's just like now we're saying okay, it's like it was like when I did the 4K review for Addams Family. It's like, okay, now we got the Addams Family, but how long are we going to have to wait for Addams Family Values to come out on 4K? Which, in my opinion, they should have done that last year. Like when you think like, okay, Tim Burton's got this Wednesday show, it's coming to Netflix and everything else. Why not? That would have been a good thing for Paramount if you think about it. It's like Paramount could have been like, okay, you know what? We'll put out like Sleepy Hollow on 4K. That way we have a Tim Burton movie out on 4K in time for Wednesday to come out, and then we'll have Addams Family Values out on 4K. So I don't know. I don't know how they do this stuff. It just seemed like this stuff would made more sense. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's about it. Oh God, 19 minutes. This was meant to be just like a 5-10 minute video, but anyway, yeah. But I'm still gonna keep buying 4K. I'm not giving up. I still do love the format. I love when it's done right, and there's stuff that I want to get. But it's just, oh man, studios and boutique companies, you are making it so much easier for people to just really pick and choose. And I can already see it. I'm sure there are probably a lot of 4K buyers out there right now. It's like, you know what? There's a lot of stuff coming, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for the sales. I'm going to wait for Criterion sale, Vinegar Syndrome sale, Severance sale, Screen Factory sale, all that kind of stuff. Hey, look, we didn't do too, hey, we did pretty good last Black Friday. Let's see how we're going to do this upcoming Black Friday, especially thanks to Best Buy and Amazon and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting year to see how, 4K shopping is going to shape up in 2023. So anyway, so that's it. So if anybody took the time to watch this, thank you so much for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I promise there will be more 4K reviews coming. But until then, my friends, take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.